مختلف المجتمعات
all other kinds of leadership in this situation must communicate in a very clear way.
وأن يكون ذلك التواصل بصورة واضحة جدا.
In a way where it is
وبطريقة
transparent,
تكون
that the public do not feel that there is a hidden agenda.
عموم الناس
that they are not hearing.
هناك أجندة خفية لا يسمعون عنها ولا يعرفون عنها. ومن المهم كذلك
high degree of trust in the leadership.
درجة كبيرة من الثقة.
And it's important that the communication society, so that the message it's important clear that we are all in this together. In order to create the needed strong response, communication must include all groups. And in this crisis, we have had a prime minister and a government who has reacted speedily and who has managed, I think this is very important, has managed to get full backing of all opposition parties all the way through, and created a sense in the public that all groups have been heard, all groups have been taken care of in this hard time we have been going through. So we have, on one hand, had this very severe lockdown where people have been sent home. It happened also in the rest of the world, but of course it was a shock when the Prime Minister on live television asked people to go home, to leave everything and go home. And we were, I think we were a bit scared to what this was all going to mean to us. But very quickly, socials play a more positive role in handling the crisis, in strengthening the feeling of community, and to speculate, not to lose their critical sense, but to keep it under wrap until it's for certain that there has been some abuse of power, if it has taken place. So far, I have not seen any evidence of it, but I have seen a lot of negative speculation in the press. I think the press also had a unique opportunity, and they can still live up to it, but so far they have not.
Thank you very much. It's very important speech, and thank you for your participation. And I think now the translation is available, as they told me. But
where, can you tell me where to find it? I'm a little.
It is about on the. I will say to Anwar, contact you on the private message. Now we go to. الآن طبعا الأستاذ عبد الرحمن ما أشوفه على عبد الرحمن كنافي، لكن معنا العلامة الشيخ الدكتور صاحب الفضيلة الدكتور عبد الله بوصوف. قبل يعني نرحب به وبيننا، وهو العلم في عالم الهجرة والمواطنة، نتابعه دائما. أظن الدكتور علي، معالي الدكتور علي يريد أن يغادر نظرا لوقته الثمين، فكان يريد أن يودعنا. راجع. طيب الآن الدكتور عبد الله بوصوف أستاذنا وحبيبنا، تفضل لك كلمة. بارك الله فيك. دكتور عبد الله المجال مفتوح، لو تفتح الميكروفون دكتور. دكتور عبد الله. كان والصوت مقطوع. الأخ في الكنترول، هل الدكتور
عبد الله you have the mic.
الميكروفون مفتوح لك يا دكتور.
Kindly open the mic.
طيب نرجع. أحد مدراء الشرطة في ريكيافيك الكلمة له الآن بليز. طبعا هو على ميكروفون كريم عسكري. الأخ كنترول شادي لو تفتح كريم عسكري. كريم لو تفتح الميكروفون عندك، أظن الميكروفون عندك مغلق.
Our brother in control, Doctor, I can see that the mic is on. Okay, we shall come back to you again. Now.
مفتوح.
السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم. Yes, please.
I hope everyone is in and your families. You have to turn mute. Technical issues as always. We've been having these meetings in my family, and we've always spent time telling people how to do things. Good to see you again. Thank you for last. Now, we are living in very unnormal times for almost all of us. And here in Iceland, I've actually been part of the police hospital tracking team. Iceland went a different way than many other countries, used a similar program as we had seen in Singapore, where we identified those who were sick and those people that they had been in contact with. And these people were put into isolation, but not others. So society here has been fairly open. But those that we think are a risk have been asked to self-isolate or have been quarantined. And right now, Iceland is looking at numbers that day after day we're reporting 0 new cases. So I think the COVID problem has been fairly well contained here in Iceland, comparing to many others. This, of course, has caused huge problems, not just for Iceland, but globally. And we're going to see problems ahead of us that we haven't, we can't imagine just yet, because economically, this is going to have a lasting effect on the entire world. So, but in these problems, we also have opportunity. We have seen some things happening right now that many people in the world realize that the world is not a country or an isolated group. It is, we are all in this together, not just our group, our country, or how we look at it. And we can see that in particular where they're looking for a cure, that cooperation between countries is now happening on a scale which is faster than you would see otherwise. So this is also a time of opportunity for us to sort of think a little bigger. But what it has also shown us, and this is what I personally find amazing, is that with all our advances in society, how hard it has been for the world to deal with a problem for 2 months. That is, our companies are dependent on steady inflow of cash. Many families cannot go without 1 month without their income. This is a larger effect that's we really need to look at evaluation in what's going to happen afterwards, because our model, if the world is so weak that we can't sustain 2 months without catastrophic change, there is something wrong with the model that we have been running so far. Now, I was asked to talk a little bit about social media, and what I find with social media, and I'm agreeing with Lotte, who spoke with us before, is that we have to be very open and control what is like news. The problem with social media is that we have a lot of misinformation going on at the same time as we have like real information. And there we also have to think a little bit, because now we have been isolated. So social media has become a big platform for us to communicate. But at the same time, we've been seeing that conspiracy theories or misinformation spreads often faster than the real news. What I like about Iceland is that we've up till now had a press conference every single day explaining to people what is really going on by a panel of experts. We've had our Surgeon General, we've had the specialist for transmutable diseases, and we have a representative from the police and even government explaining to people like, this is why we're doing this, and this is what's going on, and this is the best information that we have at the current time. So when we go into re-evaluation, this is something that we have to think about as well, is like the leaders of every community have to think that what we've done before is not always what's going to work in the future. And who are our representatives and who are strong individuals that people trust and follow in areas like social media. And in particular, I would like to point out that the younger you are, and it doesn't have to mean that you're very young, but it could be in your 30s or 40s, a lot of normal life has now transformed that didn't exist 15 years ago. So in the future, we have to think very carefully about who they are who are leading there. And exchange of opinions is not always what is needed. It's also someone who takes together all the information and gives the best results from what you have. So it's not like, not every opinion is equal. Some opinions are just really bad, and they're not constructive in any way, and they're based on misinformation. So you have to have someone that's sort of stable and gives you the idea that this is the best available information at any point in time. And who are the people who are leading that discussion? Because I imagine in your countries, as anywhere in the world, large groups have not been allowed to gather. So you're losing a bit of what you would normally have, and you have to adjust to what's coming instead. And this, what happens now, can easily happen again. So re-evaluation and opportunity is what is presented. And you need new leaders and leaders in areas and platforms that you've not used before, and invest in those. Other than that, I just hope that we'll see something better come out of all of this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا. معالي الدكتور عبد الله بوصوف معنا الآن، تستطيع؟ معالي الدكتور. معالي الدكتور معك المايك. طيب، الدكتور عبد المجيد بن محمد العمري من المملكة العربية السعودية ومتواجد معنا. فضيلة الشيخ الدكتور أيضا مقطوع، نرجع إليه. سؤال.
Thanks for our speaker. His Excellency Abdullah Mansour, you are online. Can you hear us? Your Excellency. Doctor, the mic is on. You can start talking now. All right. Dr. Abdul Majid bin Muhammad Al-Umari from Saudi Arabia. He is online now. The Sheikh. Now he disconnected. We'll come back to him later. Now, a question. The identity and to achieve a true citizenship is a document represented by His Excellency Dr. Abdul Samad Al-Yazidi the General Directory of the Islamic Council in Germany. He may go ahead. I hope we stick to 5 minutes because we have so many guests, so we can allow everybody. Abdul Samad, you have the mic. Thank you, Dr. Hussein, and greetings everyone. Your Excellencies, Your Highness, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I have chosen for my contribution to talk about Muslims in German or Muslims in German. And the answer to this question is, we might have another crisis for the Muslim generations to come in Germany. And this issue can also be replicated in other countries. It's a crisis of identify the nationality, our identity, who we are. So I start by saying, guests by our time, this what is used to be called to our ancestors, our grandparents, our first generations of immigrants. And this term used to be a title for a program for the immigration that was taken by the German government at that time, in the 60s and the 70s of the last century. This title, this name, used to be a program that those people, new generation or the new first wave of immigration, they are only laborers or guests. And guests do not build. Guests, they are committed to the regulations and then they leave. Therefore, the issue here is the government used to look at them that they are laborers, guests, and our ancestors, they used to perceive themselves the same way, that they are only guests and laborers. So laborers cannot build, or guests cannot build. This name was accepted by all parties in the government, the society, the immigrants themselves. Therefore, if everybody accepts that immigrants are only a temporary guest linked to his labor contract, no one would think at the time that anything to do about the integration or multiculturalism. So no one talked about citizenship or identity. The country focused and the society focused on at the time on the power and the energy that they could utilize from those immigrants. And no one paid attention to those laborers have their own needs, have their own spirit and culture and background. They have their own identity. On the other hand, all immigrants consider themselves in a time where they have to do hard labor and collect money to enhance their life condition back their home and to help their family back home. No one has ever thought that this country, that this German will become very soon to the second country for them and the first country for their own children. So the perception of the immigrants or the labor controls and influences their identity within the society. This behavior was perceived and accepted by the first generations of immigrants, the Muslim immigrants generation to Germany. That perception is no longer acceptable in that second wave of immigrants or the next generation. This challenge that we face in terms of identity has the secret of our problem with regard to integration, and it's also a reason and the cause the discrimination that we faced. I believe the question of identity is a very important and crucial question for identity and for a very vital citizenship. So it's part of who we are. It describes the path forward to the integration, to play an active role in society, or to the lack of belonging, or to play the role of the stranger, or to play the role of the victim. We have to identify our identity as citizens with all rights in those countries that we live in. And we have this citizenship, and this identity is a responsibility that we have to shoulder to participate in the flourishment and of this country where we live to the best of our ability. And also we will work hard to eliminate all evil or the bad deeds to our country in forming alliance that belongs and encompasses all religions and cultures. And the saying of our Prophet Muhammad, he said in his in Medina Munawwara Charter, the first constitution that lay out the rights and strengthen the collaboration between all the spectrums of society on the good deeds and particularly and specifying our identity will no doubt contribute in raising our kids on a true citizenship. And true citizenship with no extremism, with no negligence. The constructive citizenship is the one that creates a balance between the citizen and his duty and responsibilities to his country, where a citizen will work hard to the flourishment of the country and pursue enhancing the life condition in his country, unlike the fake citizenship where a citizen claims to belong to a country where in fact it is only in the prosperity time when the country is prosperous, but when the country is facing challenges, it abandon that country. Thank you for your speech. Dr. Abdullah Boussouf, he is in another meeting, but he hears both sides. Thank you for following up. Now we go back to Dr. Sheikh Abdul Majid Al-Amari. Earlier, he used to work with the Saudi Religious Affairs Ministry. Would like to welcome you. How are you today? Thanks God, I'm good. Please, the mic is yours. In the name of Allah, thanks to Allah, and peace be upon the Prophet of Muhammad, the Honorable Muhammad, peace be upon him. And bless the last 10 days of Ramadan to everyone. And I thank our brothers in the Scandinavian Council for Relationship and Communication, represented by the Dr. Anwar Al-Kumaimi and Hussein Al-Dawoodi, and also the International Council for the Muslim Communities, represented by the Dr. Ali Al-Nuaimi, and also my friend Ahmed Al-Bishari. I would like to thank you all for this opportunity, for this seminar, and I'm happy to take part in this. I will be quite brief, and I will say that the media plays a very important role in terms of communication. And when we ask about the current situation before the corona crisis, for the media overseas, the media, unfortunately, in the East to the West, never serves the Muslims. They never reflect or depicted the right image for Muslims. The media was a tool to create conflicts between societies and brothers. And also media played a very negative role in terms of dividing society. And those people who immigrated also, they had that bad image. The media that was set up in the West had that same virus with weakness and the virus of dividing people. So we cannot rely on media. If we rely on the same old pattern, Media is unreliable because it divides people. We need to have a reformed media, a media that helps and serves our needs. The other issue I would like to highlight that the alternative media is a tool or a technology that to alert or modify or rectify our errors or mistakes by relying on experts and train people. The corona epidemic that hit the world and impacted all aspects of life all over the world, economy, health, safety, security, you name it, has revealed the fake face of human rights, especially in the world power, those people who claim to be idealistic countries. Those countries, they turned into thugs and thieves, and we could see chaos and destruction. Those countries, they behave in a way that is similar to the Middle Ages, fighting over food in a very chaotic manner, and the monopoly on some medical tools and supply. This time is a time where we should get together, not to fight over a supply of medical or food. Certainly, the implications of this crisis will not end very soon. This crisis will have long-lasting impact on our world, and we will see a change in the world that we live in. We will see definitely impact and positive impact and negative impact, and we can see the positive results also of this crisis on us. And we may see a change, a profound and fundamental change in the way we perceive our ambition. And some others might be very ambitious to win or to gain from this crisis. The Muslim community in the West, they are not guests. They were negatively impacted by this crisis. The Muslim crisis provided their best competencies, the best experts who died trying to save lives in the hospitals on the West, and they sacrificed their souls and their lives to help and save others. Therefore, here is how we can turn the crisis into an opportunity. So this crisis was sent by God so that we can turn it into an opportunity. The soft power has become an effective way to enhance the communication between countries and to deal with crisis and to enhance the mental image. And when I talk about the mental image that we talk about both Muslim and Islams in the West is very misguided or very misinterpreted. And some Muslims contributed to this bad image of Muslims in the West when they behave in a way that's not appropriate. Whether Muslims are visitors or residents, that enhanced the bad image of Islam and Muslim in the West. So there is no doubt that we have to utilize this crisis, and the Muslim community in the West owns tools and resources of the soft power, and that power can overcome the challenges and differences between societies, and can also bring people together, and it can resolve the issues. Because this soft power could overcome challenges that the international diplomacy failed to resolve. So the soft power could solve issues that the superpower couldn't overcome. So how can soft power change the stereotyping of Muslims, and how we can alleviate our situation, and how we can get to a point where we win the trust of society, and how can we prove that we are good citizens. And this point is very crucial for citizens, because Muslims in the West are citizens, and they should play an effective role within society. The Muslim community in the West has the soft power, it has the economy and the money that could mobilize any resources. And the alternative media or the technology is also competing with the conventional media, and it does not require a budget. We can see a small short clip that could turn the power upside down and could change and could cause a fundamental change all over the world. And the Muslim community should utilize this media to strengthen the connections, like to have an institutional communication for the Muslim centers, and to have a team of experts in the public relationship and media and constitutional communication. Muslims should also show the greatness of Islam and the greatness of Islam to preserve the 5 pillars of Islam, the soul of the preserving the soul, and how Islam encompasses the morality and ethics. Thank you. 2 suggestions, please. I would like also, with one condition. Any suggestion? You will lead the institution that you propose. Please, this is the point. I will conclude. We have to intensify the volunteering work for the Muslim community. Muslim community, they should play a role in the volunteer job, and particularly for the time of crisis, and work with the handicaps, and show the scientific competencies for the Muslims community, like doctors. And we have to formulate committees, lawyers of doctors, and to set up a consultancy. Councils set up a strategy for overcoming the challenges, and also evaluating the technical method to train young people on this work, and also and relying on the Muslims. And now I can declare that I will be the volunteer to establish a network or a training course on the public relationship, on the Scandinavian relationship, and we will utilize that, and it will be it's free for public, and we will handle the cost of the training course. Well done, very impressive. Thank you very much. In fact, this is a very good proposals. We agreed, Dr. Bushari, that the committee is minority. We no longer call community a minority. We are citizens. We are Scandinavian. We are Muslims, and we are citizens. We are also citizens of Scandinavian. We take part with the society. Thanks again for you, and we appreciate the role Saudi Arabia plays in the first donation for stopping this plague, stopping this epidemic. It's really a testimony for the Saudi Arabia. It was the first donor for combating the corona, and the work that has been done by the Saudi Arabia institution, and the first concern for this institution to take play role of the Swedian king, the Mahmoud al-Dubai, who talks about the citizenship and the. Doctor, please go ahead. Can we give him the mic? Our brothers in the control room, can we get? Please click on the mic so you can turn the mic on so you can start talking. Can you hear me? Yes, please. You have 5 minutes, please. Okay, 5 minutes. I refuge peace in the name of Allah, peace be upon His Prophet. I'd like to start by saying I would like to greet all the leaders of humanitarian pioneers and religious pioneers and our brothers and sisters taking part in this seminar. And also I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum, greeting everyone. I would like in this contribution to address the citizenship in the time of Corona. Citizenship has proven that is very effective in this time of crisis. So everyone was committed, citizens and new citizens, to work hand in hand in social work in facing this disaster. Therefore, I would like to address a very important issue is the social contract in the right citizenship. A citizenship that brings people together, the citizenship that doesn't divide people. It's communication and setting up a very strong relationship between the society and the citizen. Therefore, we have to have a contract where we consider the citizenship is the source of rights and duties for everyone who holds the passport or national citizenship of that particular country, without discrimination, without the social contract has to compatible between citizenship and citizenship. So whoever takes the citizenship of that country is very important reshuffling the societies or reshuffling or reorganizing the society after the corona. In this time, we've seen a unity between public and the governments in terms of facing this country. And we need to mention citizens from foreign background who contributed greatly in facing this crisis when they communicated with elderly people and providing food supply to people who need food. And we go back to the citizenship by the diversity of multiculturalism, that the individuals who share the same country, they will respect each other. And they have tolerance in terms of diversity and multiculturalism or different ethnicities. And in fact, I would like to highlight and speak about a very crucial issue, the institutions' role in the media role and religious institutions in facing this crisis. I say the Islamic institutions, we live in Sweden, a country that was hit hard by this, the most impacted country in this Scandinavian country. We have many number of Jews and Muslims that were hit by this crisis. Jews, many of them are elderly people. They live in the nursery homes, and many Muslims, they provide humanitarian services to those nursery homes. At the beginning of this epidemic, many Islamic institutions were confused on how to deal with this epidemic. Should we close the mosques? Should we close the hospitals? Should we carry on? Should we have a lockdown? But the most of our educational institutions and religious institutions, they have consensus that the most important thing is the society. The safety and security of society is our main concern, and we have to work together. So we closed all the mosques, and all Muslims were committed to follow the instructions by the government. There are many issues related to different topics that have been addressed by our previous speakers about voluntary work. Indeed, we have many volunteers from Muslim companies in many Sweden cities, from young people and ladies also. Some newspapers suggested that calling one Stockholm street a person for a Muslim, his name Mosa, who laid a humanitarian campaign for everyone who needs in his district. And this is evidence or proof that Muslims have become citizens, care about the society where they live, and play an active role and a very humanitarian role before the Islamic or religious role. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will have more communication. Now we go to our brother Abdul Haq.
State fails to provide or adequately deliver these services to civic society. And I think it's Lottie London, the Danish journalist, mentioned something very important in her speech, and that was in connection with transparency in the leadership and the communication from the government, from the state to civic society. In the event of that breaking down, and in the event of this not being clear, then we start seeing conflict from civic society at a parallel, horizontal parallel to the state. And we see a push and pull start happening between these two sectors of society. So we only have to look at what took place in Hong Kong very recently, before the pandemic took hold. And we saw peaceful protests quickly escalate due to the promises that have been broken and the response of the state. If we look in Europe, we see a similar thing happen with France, with the yellow shirts, the yellow vests, in that these peaceful protests came about due to the government, the state, raising prices of fuel, electricity, and the like, which was in breach or to the discord of civic society. Now, you may be wondering, well, why are we looking at that at the moment? Again, coming back to that comment from our Danish colleague, if there is not a transparency of leadership and a clarity of leadership in this time where lockdowns are being imposed, in this time where we're seeing fake news and conspiracy theories coming about, in this time where we're seeing some getting treatment and testing more than others, then we are likely to face civic discord. And in some regions, we are seeing this. If you look to America at the moment, we're seeing that some from the far right are marching to open up their states, to open up the economy, being supported by the president, unfortunately, and they're bearing arms. We're seeing that there are disturbances in certain other cities with regards to not complying with government and state requirements to stay at home, to self-isolate, to quarantine. So it is very important that while we're talking about the benefits that we're seeing of communication getting better, everyone being more connected via social media and appreciating common core values, we also have to take into consideration if there is a breakdown because of a lack of transparency, a lack of clear leadership on what is a very worrying, concerning. I'll just take my mic off because I think it's about to die off speak.
Can you still hear me? I'm speaking. I will speak through the speaker.
It's very good now. Better, much better.
Thank you. So before I draw to a conclusion, I've mentioned law-abiding civic society and citizens, legitimized identities. We have to be careful that if the state, if the government, if the agencies are not providing clear leadership, clear guidelines, that we're then going to see that legitimized identity, that good citizenship, is going to change into resistant identities. Just like we've seen, I refer again to Hong Kong, I refer again to France, and we can see that across other states. So what would that look like? If we see resistant identities, we will see things like disturbance of peace, illegal assembly, mass protests amongst the civil society actors. Then we will see a response from the state, which will be aggressive arrests, search and seizure, crowd control. And you'll see that trajectory moving in parallels along a horizontal plane, which can only escalate. So I will conclude that this has to be a consideration. I've heard very good speeches. I haven't understood the Arabic medium, unfortunately, but what I'm hearing are very positive speeches, and I don't mean to come with a negative perspective, but I'm here to provide a reality, because we've got to look at the context in which we are living. Are we prepared for what comes after the pandemic, if that leadership, if that transparency, if the failure to get to grip with this pandemic by our governments, by our leadership, doesn't take place? And I'll leave that there for further discussion. I think I'm within my 5 minutes. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. Thank you, brother. الآن نتحول إلى أيسلند. والأيسلند اليوم يقولون أنه يعني مسموح للأصحاء من السياح أن يأتوا إلى أيسلندا حسب ما قرأت في الأخبار، وأنا أتابع فخامة الرئيس أرسلت له السؤال، قال نعم ممكن أنه يتم الفتح. كريم عسكري المدير التنفيذي لوقف أيسلندا الإسلامي.
Now we'll move to Iceland. Iceland today, they are the healthy tourists only can come to Iceland. The president, he said, yes, healthy tourists, they could come over. Karim Askari is the manager of the Muslim Waqf in Iceland, the first mosque built in Iceland. Greeting everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone and bless and congratulate everyone for the fact that we are living in the last 10 days of Ramadan. In those days, when we heard about our Sheikh talking about the epidemic of Corona that was unprecedented, that was unprecedented at all in the social media, and everyone talks about this epidemic. Now we have the adrenaline rushing through my blood, and all news we have very bad news, and all news are terrible. In those circumstances, it's become we have to come up with new ideas that could help us live with this crisis. Hopefully it will be gone soon. And And this will impact the way we evaluate data and also evaluate the individual. And the studies has shown that the sharing information will have a very important impact on the individual, whether negative or positive. Therefore, it could contribute in creating a sense of safety and security that will impact our reaction with this crisis. I call everyone in formulating, sharing information, and dealing in facing and confronting this virus to use methods and new novel ways to share information, the accurate information, to increase the sense of well-being of people. So there is no way, there is no point of fear scaring people that could lead to very catastrophic disasters. If the impact of sharing information is now meant to be only scaring people, we have to reveal the positive impact of sharing information, and that's enough for me. Thank you. It's a long topic, but I will allow others to talk. We have lecturer that now we give the mic to 2 minutes and a half to the journalist Ismail Rifat from اليوم السابع or 7th day, stay on the 8th day. You've got 2 minutes and a half. Greetings, everyone. I'd like to thank you and thank the International Council for the Islamic Community. I'd like to thank the team that is working on this platform. And I would like to thank you all. Lately, during the epidemic of Corona, the collaboration is not as it should be. The collaboration between agencies and we call it the civil society, is the term might differ from a place to another. This impacts on the talk about collaboration. Let's say that collaboration during the Corona or during Corona crisis requires human-to-human collaboration, so we can have development in some societies. So we avoid any conflict of interest between different societies. So in my point of view, I believe that pollution is also the peak of the epidemic. We need to collaborate, we need to communicate. We talk about the epidemic that moved humanity. Can this epidemic move the international community to look for the common good of humanity? So the mosque has become, it's open to the house. We have great institutions that do broadcast for religious ceremonies, for Muslim communities all over the place. And Dr. Muhammad al-Bashari and everyone here, I don't know everybody by name, but they contributed greatly. There is a call for love, for tolerance, for acceptance. This work, those people do a great job, and those group of people, they enhance the sense of safety and security for the Muslims, especially either in Egypt or in all Arabic countries or the Muslim countries. All those they call central countries. Those groups, they shoulder the concern of the Muslims and non-Muslims. This group they need to be supported. But the effort shouldn't be, we cannot have the same level of the countries. So the isolation that was imposed on us by Corona could contribute to foster that effort. However, we need to support the society. Yesterday, we saw some demonstrations. Some friend of mine sent me demonstrations. Some people think that vaccination could impact people negatively and could lead to death. And society doesn't need vaccination. So here thanks. Please, a recommendation. I would like to recommend to set up a platform, a unified platform for all institutions to work together to collaborate or coordinate the efforts. This platform should provide the unified ideology and the common concerns and the modern Islam and how we can coexist. And this platform requires a support by the EU, so we provide this work to the world. Thank you. Our greetings to Egyptian people, government and journalism and people. Thank you. It's an honor. Now we go to the piece of information in the Corona, the negatives and negative and positives. For the Sweden journalist Abdul Jalil Al-Said, kindly take the mic. Thank you. In the name of Allah, greetings everyone. Again, I would like to thank our brothers who are working on this platform and on this seminar. I met some, this is the first time I met them. It's a very good job. It's an amazing job. And I pray to Allah that it will be a very big success. And I'd like to thank our brothers in the council, the International Council for the Muslim Communities, the role they play, and everyone who served this an amazing job for the UAE. And I'd like also to thank our participants. Narrative. I'd like to share that a short story by which I can explain my point. Concerning virus, Corona, many people, many brothers from Sweden, from the Arabic background, they discuss with me that we cannot hear anything about the news of Sweden in the Arabic in Arabic media. There are many people who are annoyed by the fact that the Arabic media doesn't talk about Sweden. The Arabic media talks about UK, Italy, and France, but they never mention Sweden, as if Sweden or Scandinavian country do not exist for the Arabic media. And in fact, there can be something to do with those Scandinavian countries. They are not heavy. They are not have a very powerful impact on the international arena. Finland, Scotland, those countries are not very prominent internationally. But those countries, however, they have very good compassion to the Middle East. The Scandinavian country, they have very good Al Arabiya channel. I took a tour with them. I was there on the Arabiya TV and Abu Dhabi TV, and I talked about the newspaper about the Sweden model that was misunderstood by the Arabic country. Some thought that the Sweden is played that a different model a model that doesn't believe in a lockdown. But I try to clarify that misconception and clarify what's going on in Sweden. And that will be a piece of news that was circulated by the media in the Middle East. So, ladies and gentlemen who took part, people are interested and concerned with listening to Arabic to the country where they live. So I hope that we shouldn't blame the Arabic media for not sharing the news for the certain European countries, but we have to contribute to share the news of those in our countries with the Arabic media. So those countries may not. We have to manufacture the news and export it to the Middle East. This piece of news should be exported to the Arabic world. At the time of Corona, we believe briefly that there was kind of classification of the priorities to prioritize human over economy. And I think some of the reports that I heard that Sweden listened to the Corona, but they never heard to the virus. They heard to the economy, and this is really hurt me. There is really misconception of what's going on in Sweden. So I'm Sweden and I enjoy the citizenship, and I want to clarify what's going on in Sweden to the Arabic world. This piece of information, the lack of information, and the bad information or misinformation is really staggering. So some of our participants that the media is said that one of the fundamental tools. So I believe some of the experiments that we run, I worked one day for media and relationship in the Sweden religious affairs. The public relationship we didn't have the concept of public relationship. Now the media serves the public relationship, and the public relationship believes that the media is part of it. So that I believe the credibility, and we have to check the credibility of the news. The Scandinavian countries, they should be one of the priorities of the Arabic media. And those are not only not those Scandinavian countries, not only democratic countries that care about human rights. You know, the sun really bothers me. It's very sunny here. It's not only we have this conception about Scandinavian countries that they are cold throughout the year. They have sun. We enjoy the sunlight. We go out. Those countries that need to have some attention so we can bridge the gap between the Scandinavian country and the Arabic world. So some of the information that's shared by our guests, Jews and Muslims, they are the most impacted community, and also elderly people, like this person. Those we have issues with the social society and social service. We need to highlight and shed light on those issues and the Sweden model. The Sweden people has been, when they walk with you, for even if they spend for example, you have been here for long in Sweden. For example, I have been here for a couple of years. When some newcomer come to Sweden, holds your hand this is the place where you can do riding or bicycle, and this is where you place where you can walk. This system is correlated with the integration, how you can know where you walk and where the bicycle track is. This, we cannot have. There is a proverb in Sweden says, don't say bad weather, say bad clothes. Now we go to Mr. Engineer Asma Abbas from Copenhagen. She works now in the Danish institution. And I've seen some photos with the Danish king. But you've got 5 minutes, Miss Basma. Miss Asma, kindly turn the mic on, please. Please, you have 5 minutes. Again? Please, go ahead. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, everyone, in this seminar. It's a real seminar. I enjoy the contributions and the speech of the guests. In brief, I'd like to thank Ali Naimi, the head of the Islamic Council for Muslim Community, and I'd like to thank them for organizing this event. I will talk briefly about the citizenship at the time of Corona. Excuse me, about the applying relationship or deploying relationship in fighting Corona. The media plays a very important role. The TV and radio used to be the only source for information for many, many years. Now social media took over, particularly Twitter has become the source of news for many people. It's not only the source of news, also Twitter has become the source of the news, quick news. So we can say, for example, in Denmark, the Danish radio has a Twitter account, and also they have breaking news. This is an evidence or proof that they rely on social media. Everyone relies on social media, particularly for news and sharing information. The number of users, the active users for the social media, 3 billion people. 3 billion people, we talk about like 49% of human population. So why people would go to social media, to those tools? Because they meet their needs, and they meet various needs, like communication with others, that doesn't believe in borders. And today's seminar is an example of that. And every individual has the appropriate or suitable group for them. Now, the requirement for knowledge is a very robust requirement, and that requirement increases at the time of crisis. Particularly when we talk about sometimes the delay of the information. Not only delay of information, the delay of the transparent and accurate information from the source. Therefore, for example, for political and agenda, we have this delay. The result, our need magnifies as we have a delay of information. And when we have this need for the information and need for collaboration, the man or human feels that he is not alone. He feels that belongs to a group, that they share the same information. So he goes to those platforms where he can express his own point of views. And there is another issue about expressing or free speech. And we have the schizophrenia. Some people where they have a split between your life and your personality online. So we have given very short time. I will focus on one issue. So for the psychological point of view, those platforms deploy or utilize some people might try to alleviate the pain on people by using some funny or humorous content. From the psychological point of view, this is called sarcasm, or this is a trick that a psychological mechanism or psychological defensive mechanism to alleviate the pain. So humor or sarcasm helps to block the fear for those people. However, but that could backfire. But that could backfire in a sense. This humor and sarcasm could find its way to. So why do we think so? Because we should take that into our consideration. People who do public relationship, when they share information, when they cover information, they need to address to the public that relationship or media is looked at many schools. Some schools deploy relationship to serve media, and other schools do it the other way around. So there is no doubt there are two essential parts, mutually supported, particularly when we talk about at the time of crisis. So we cannot nullify or refute any newspaper, any piece of news. In a nutshell, the right deployment of people who do public relationship when they use the social media.
Please,
brother. The first point is
brother Ali
to not.
Yes,
not
I'm here.
Yes, please. You have 5 minutes. أستاذ علي طبعا رئيس مجلس حقوق الإنسان في مجلس حوار الأديان الرسمي التابع لدولة فنلندا. Please, تفضل. باشا.
Thank you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, dear organizers, brothers and sisters in Islam. I thank the organizers for organizing this event via Zoom and inviting me to this event. And I salute you with the warmest greetings of the Finnish Muslim community. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. About the dialogue bodies and their role in crisis in Finland, that is. Just a few words first about the National Forum for the Cooperation of Religions in Finland, which was founded in 2011. Its founding members are the Central Council Jewish Communities in Finland, the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Finland, the Finnish Ecumenical Council, the Finnish Islamic Congregation, and the Islamic Council of Finland. And its purpose is to foster peace in the Finnish society in the spirit of strengthening religious freedom and through promoting of interreligious dialogue, equality, mutual respect, and cooperation. Out of the 5 million population in Finland, there are at the moment around 80,000 Muslims residing in Finland. And due to this COVID-19 crisis, we have had some issues, especially in the very beginning. That is, some Muslim groups with the family multi-generation meetings and gatherings took place even with the government guidelines were in effect. So due to these factors, the government improved its communication by issuing guidelines in several languages. And they did it in cooperation with our community, the Muslim community, but also with the Finnish Lutheran Church and the Jewish congregations. Imams and other people of faith, we started to distribute the information via social media to vulnerable groups in our community and other communities as well. Legal-wise, the government restrictions in Finland, they are not as strict as, for example, in Germany or in the United Kingdom, but they do not apply to religious congregations in Finland. Nevertheless, the Finnish church, the Christian Lutheran Church, they made a resolution that they would stop not stop, but discontinue the Sunday sermons in the church. And so did the Muslims. That we started first with the Salatul Jummah. We started to transmitting them online with the sermon, etc. And now when Ramadan started, we started to do our Taraweeh prayers online as well. And some of us have had also iftars online, so that there is some kind of gathering first, maybe some lecture, and then Salatul Maghrib and fast breaking, and then eating via Zoom is the most popular one, to be honest. I don't know whether it's, we have also provided with COVID-19 and Ramadan guidelines. I don't know whether it's possible to share the screen.
Posed by the COVID-19. So therefore, we need to raise awareness about how risky this situation is, and that is our challenge. From here, the responsibility, like what we see in some markets, where we could see a big demand for or kind of looting, and we need to strike a balance between give and take. Individuals cannot take free medicine if they don't need it. Third, a citizen should go to the experts if he sees the symptoms of corona, should go to the hospital, and he should also be self-isolated. Fourth, we shouldn't go to the street only if necessary, and we should put a mask on, gloves on, so we shouldn't propagate or spread the infection, and also eliminate any tools that could pave the way for infection. The fifth is never share rumors that could undermine the moral of society, and never share bad news that could undermine the moral of society. And the third element is the sacrifice. Sacrifice at this time is like a war. Therefore, we need to sacrifice. The sacrifice has many categories. The first expected sacrifice is the frontline medical staff. They are facing the biggest challenge. Some of those medical or first responders, they haven't received their salary yet, but yet they insist on sacrificing to save others. The second, the sacrifice of other nations, where China sent a delegation of 7 doctors to help Italy to confine the infection, and China also sent doctors to other countries. The third, the sacrifice of the individual, which is the minimal level of sacrifice, is represented by the fact that the individual should be committed, should stay at home, and they shouldn't send or share or propagate the infection. And that a sacrifice is required where people help each other and their countries, where everyone focuses on giving and communicating and with minimum casualties. Fourth, volunteer. We can ask volunteers to come over to help us. Fifth, donation. Donation to help to combat and fight corona. And it's an open door that you can donate by money or logistics or effort or time or paper or word or awareness, science, ideas. You can donate in any way possible. Thank you very, very much for listening. Thank you. Thank you. And I hope a new collaboration with you. Ms. Asma is a public relation expert, and we shall continue. Now we talk to Mr. The Sheikh, Said Muhammad Ali al-Husseini, the Islamic general, a very big landmark of peace, and he against this extremism. I was his accompany in many trips and travels. Thank you. In the name of Allah, ladies and gentlemen, Your Highness, Your Excellencies, greeting everybody. May Allah accept our good deeds, particularly that we have entered the last 10 days of Ramadan, and we remember that the al-Mu'mineen, the mother of Muslims, Aisha, when she asked the Prophet, peace be upon him, what should we say on those nights? He said, may Allah, you are forgiver, you love forgiveness, so forgive us. So may I ask Allah to forgive us. Certainly, we cannot cover everything, so we have very limited time. Particularly, some of our brothers are approaching the breaking fast, so I'll be very brief. Allah created Eve, so he felt lonely, so Allah created a companion for him, so to share with him life with him. So Allah created Eve to share with Adam his life, and Eve will be his companion. So Allah created companionship, friendship. So we dislike loneliness. That was confirmed by the verse in Quran, that one of Allah creation is He created a companion for you. So God created friendship and warmth between people. So the social aspect is a very crucial and fundamental aspect of us. It's part of our nature. Therefore, life on this planet starts when there are two couples, male and female, Adam and Eve. When we have a social life, starts when we have children. So the circle continues. So building this planet starts by a verse in Quran, O people, take refuge in Allah. Allah created you from one soul, and He created many people. So this mix contributed the social work to enhance the collaborative life that requires support and collaboration. Therefore, to avoid the social aspect is against human nature, because the social aspect is essential part of the human nature. Therefore, the prayer of Zechariah prophet, Allah, don't leave me alone, you are the best giver. So there is no doubt that we have many psychological issues that we suffer, many people struggle with. It goes back to the isolation and eliminating the social aspects of life. Ibn Khaldun said on his book, in his very famous book, human are social people, and that's what led many studies to focus on that relationship in human contact, because it has enormous impact on our life. What we should emphasize, though, is there are relationship and communications, human to human contact, give and take, and there are also public relationship that could impact the work environment and the employees and the staff, and that could impact on life in general, and vice versa. In other words, the more social life we have, the more balance, the more happy we are. The current situation that we are facing in the world because of Corona epidemic, it brought back to the importance of social life. So this is a blessing in disguise. Despite our isolation that we was imposed on us, however, that could play a vital role in bringing us together, even spiritually. Tomorrow we will have a common prayers for all society all over the world. We will go to Allah and we will pray with white hands, to pray on all tongues, in all languages, to alleviate this pain, to alleviate this epidemic. So this collaboration that's taking different forms and shapes that have been called by the religions to support others, moral support, financial support, relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is part of our human nature, and it has been enhanced at this very critical time. And here, the importance of social cohesion and social communications. As the Prophet said, the Muslims in their warmth and friendship is like one body. If there is any part of the body is in pain, this will impact the whole body. A recommendation I would like to pass on to you, to everyone, and to our brothers and the Muslim brothers, Ali Naimi also, and my brother Ali Karim, Muhammad al-Bashari also, the head of them, that we share our experience, share our experience wherever you are, to know how you act, the religious institutions and social institutions in this time, and to find out their performance, to take the positives and to share the positive experience, and to learn about the negatives, and to enhance the weaknesses. And this is part of the proverb serves. Thanks for your patience, and thank you for listening. I pray to Allah that Allah accept from everyone, and wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you for your marvelous speech, and we communicate with you. Now, Switzerland leader from Egyptian origin, Fawzia Ashmawi, the head of the Muslim women. My apology, it's taking too long. Taking your advice that the women, I have so many women on board, so from different religions and from different religions. I've given a chance to the to sisters. Now it's your time. Kindly open the mic from your end. There is no sound. I think that the sound or the volume is off from you. Yeah. Now I can hear it. I can't. I think the volume is disconnected from your end. We can't. Still I can't hear you. Miss Fawzia, the mic. You have a problem with the mic. Kindly fix it. No, still I can't hear you. You might have a problem with the mic. Okay, we will go to Musa, then we come back to you. Dr. Musa Allawi, the head of the religious affairs in Algeria, a researcher and a media person, coexistence at the time of Corona. And we'll go back, Ms. Fawzia, later. Dr. Musa, kindly take the mic. Greeting, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Please lower the volume, please. Lower the volume, please. Please go ahead. Greeting, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank the work team who is doing or monitoring this conference. I would like also to thank everyone. And I would like to send my regards to the doctors and Sheikh and the speakers, with no exception. By the way, I will talk about coexistence, religious coexistence at the time of Corona. I think Islam has come with values and fundamental principles that dictates and encouraged coexistence. And those values and principles, we can see it in Islam in the Medina Charter, which was drafted by the Prophet, peace be upon him, and it made all people who live in the city, whether other infidels, Jews, non-Muslims, non-believers, they had their own rights, and they shared the peace and the land. And Islam, as rules and has come to preserve the 5 pillars, preserving the religion and the soul and the money. And some Sheikh said add some other things like freedom However, what I would like to highlight is coexistence in Islam. Islam has emphasized the importance of coexistence, that Muslim can live anywhere and can live in with any society, with any ethnicity, with any religion, with any ideology. Islam acknowledges other religions like Judaism and Christianity. And one of the basic principles of Islam, it set up some ethical rules that is shared by all religions, including Judaism and also other ideologies, which is collaboration, the value of collaboration or brotherhood or honesty. Those values, they are not denied by any religion. It's shared by everyone. So our origin is one. So if religions recognize Allah as a creator, so other religions and other ideologies also, we have many things to common. So whoever they worship is the same thing. Islam comes with 5 or 7 pillars, and I think any religion on the world would deny those pillars, which therefore we believe in coexistence, which is also part of the Medina or the city charter, which is an example and a great example of coexistence between all ideologies, all religions. We've never heard that Islam fights a certain ideology or certain religion. We have a real historic testimonies for many big Jewish and Christian landmarks who said that they've never seen peace, only at the time of Islam. Therefore, I wanted to talk about Corona, this epidemic, and what I think all religions, especially Islam, believes in collaboration and elevation of this pain. I believe one of our brothers, one of speakers, that one of the most examples, the greatest doctors from Arab and Muslims, they've set an example in sacrificing their souls and providing their souls regardless of ideologies. And we've noticed that this epidemic doesn't distinguish between Muslims and Jews. It really touches everyone, impacts everyone. Therefore, we need to unite, we need to collaborate to face this challenge. So today, thanks to this technology and thanks to this communication, the world has become one village. So the civilization dialogue should continue, and we should overcome the ideological differences. So human is the center of our issue. Islam never says that only Muslims should live and others should die. No, everybody should live. The historians have highlighted that other religions have never experienced peace and prosperity, only at the time of Islam. So we need to condemn extremism, and we need to condemn or avoid extremism. And I can't, sorry, I don't want to take long. So I've said that all ad lib without looking at the paper. I would like to greet again all the participants, and thank you. Thank you. Now we collaborate with the international Muslim communities that this seminar will encompass more participants. Now go back to the Ms. Fawzia Ashmawi, I hope the mic is working now. No sound yet. Still, there is no sound. Brother Hussein, allow me. I think she's using iPad with the iPhone at the same time. She is using both simultaneously. Doctor, I think she has two. So kindly switch off the iPad and use your iPhone. Please go ahead. Talk up. I've turned the speaker on. Greeting everyone. You can speak on the WhatsApp. I would like to thank the work team who is doing this tremendous job, particularly. Can you hear her? Can you hear her? I'll talk about the human communication, and in my capacity of the head of the women platform I would like to say the Corona doesn't entail isolation. However, it means persistence and relationship and communication. It means communication with everyone, particularly that we live at a time we live with other communities, non-Muslim people. We cannot live by ourselves. We need to integrate. So we believe in collaboration. We believe in coordination. And we should play a role and alleviate and eliminate this disease. For Muslims or non-Muslims, it's known to everyone that in Switzerland, the family might be constitute of one individual or two people. However, on the other hand, Muslim family might have so many members, and those all live together. But in Switzerland, we have so many people live on their own. So this is our duty to communicate with these people who live by themselves and to ensure that they are okay. Especially with the students, female students, they live on their own, alone, by themselves. So my role is to bring them together, because we have many telecommunication methods and social media by which we can communicate, because isolation can be very harmful, but communicating even by phone that could alleviate the psychological pain, and also could alleviate and also boost their moral. So our role, I would like also to highlight we shouldn't listen or share bad rumors on Facebook or Twitter, because there are people who love and like to share bad rumors, and we have to share only accurate and correct information. And my apologies for the technical effect or mistake that took place. And I pray to everyone, especially in this sacred Ramadan, Thank you. Thanks to all our friends and brothers and all Muslims and non-Muslims. I hope tomorrow we will pray and we'll go to Allah and to pray to Allah that it will take away this crisis, because each crisis, each disaster can be taken and will be taken. And in Switzerland, North Macedonia, Mr. Sheikh Masad Ramadan, the head of the intellectual committee in North Macedonia, the spiritual element of in the time of Corona, greeting everyone. I pray to Allah in those blessed days, particularly those last 10 days, that Allah accept our fasting and our prayers and our good deeds. Then I'd like to thank you, Abu Marwan, for making this possible, and thanks for the council, the Scandinavian Council, for the relationship also, and thanks for the cooperation and collaboration for the International Islamic Council, led by Dr. Naimi. In fact, they have played a major role in the Balkan countries, a very positive role in the European countries. So thank you very much. First of all, although we are very distant, we are very apart, yet we have many things that brings us together, like this topic where we talk together. I will talk about, it's not about what we are going through. Our topic is, I will talk about many disease, many sick people those people have been forgotten. But we will pray to Allah that Allah cure and find the cure for all people who are sick. No matter. I've got some points I would like to highlight. First of all, to believe in Allah helps that you deal with the crisis and issues, whether it's disease, you have this a positive approach when you have believe in Allah. So the believe in Allah, believe in destiny, believe in what Allah created. So Allah never creates pure evil. So this disaster we are going through, obviously it's a disaster, but it will have a very positive impact. So my prayers, my relationship to Allah, I'll become closer. I realize my fragility, my weakness. So I realize how strong and powerful Allah is. So we should celebrate this pandemic. Whoever doesn't go back to Allah, Allah will send tests to him. So Allah sends tests and hardship for you people to see your reaction. So let's turn this disaster into an opportunity. We need to reflect on our relationship with Allah. And we spend those days in Ramadan with our families. We fast together, we pray together, we reflect on our life. So we shouldn't overlook, we shouldn't allow this virus to take our time and our thoughts. So I talk about a society. When I talk about the role we should play, the Muslim should always be an active in terms of communication and collaboration, and we shouldn't be marginalized. I don't say that there are attempts to marginalize us, but we should have a case, we should have a goal. Allah says through Prophet Muhammad, you Muddathir, wake up and warn people. This doesn't mean that this is message only to the Prophet. It also exceeds to the role of Muslims in his daily life. Our country, North Macedonia, just like many other countries, took some process and procedures to ensure the safety of people, in addition to other governmental sectors. Our competence and expertise were on the front line to face this epidemic. Thanks to Allah. And we have a great opportunity. In many countries, we have young people with potentials, with qualifications. They only lack good planning, so we can have a positive impact on society. And here comes the importance of the unity between people and the unity of Muslims and coordination between institutions. And we have to work on many levels: education, qualification in our society. And we based on that, the education and the spiritual element. For example, in North Macedonia, we provide knowledge, religious affairs from the original source, but in a very modern method that in line with our requirements and our needs in North Macedonia. And that gives an impression. Thank you, Your Highness. Thanks for your valuable inputs. We would like to end on time. Now we go to a very important November Bazaar in Serbia. That has a country. Let's see the relationship and the hope and the persisting on success. I have a slogan: pioneering with passion. Pioneering with passion is a feature or a characteristic, one of the characteristics of the Dr. Anwar. He lived in Serbia. He set up the Islamic University that was accredited by the UU. So I hope he can have a branch in Scandinavia to have a Scandinavian imam who know their situation, who issue fatwa in line with the situation, and strengthen the relationship between people. Siham, please take the mic. A doctor in religious Islamic affairs and the positive aspects at the time of Corona. In the name of Allah, peace be upon His Prophet, I'd like to thank all the work team that organizes this event, particularly the Scandinavian team. At this time, we've seen many positives, but I can't emphasize enough the importance of looking at the silver lining, the positive aspects of this crisis, and the impact of this positive aspects or the silver lining on our social life. As we live this holy sacred month, it's an opportunity to strengthen the society and to ask people to donate to poor people and to donate to families that are struggling with the virus, and to deploy technology like what we see now, and where we share ideas and communications, and allowing kids to take part in the home and playing a vital role and a very important role, and to be committed to the family-friendly warmth. Muslims should look for silver lining in any crisis. With every crisis, there is an end. As the Prophet said, I wonder the situation of the condition of Islam or Muslims. Whatever happens to Islam, it turns out to be good. However, we should be positive all the time, and we should pray to Allah. Allah is the source of inspiration in this difficult time. And for the general social life, lately we've seen many positive aspects that come about thanks to this crisis, like some initiatives that launched by some individuals to strengthen the family relationship, and reorganizing our priorities, like praying to Allah and waking up at night praying to Allah, and to appreciate nature, where people could sit only at the park or in the sunlight or in the shadow of a tree. Those simple minor activities which just reflects our appreciation to nature. And we shouldn't also forget paramedics, and also I would like to summarize results. There is no way out of this pandemic only by the grace of Allah. And we should also feel the importance of the mother and the critical and crucial role she plays in the family. We also shouldn't forget that although we have an immunity or immune system, we still also have to have a psychological strength by the mindset where we accept crises and disasters. Should we learn from that? The last prayers is thanks to Allah. Thank you, Your Excellency, for this speech. So as you've highlighted, many services they include Muslims and non-Muslims. Yes. Now we go to Greece. The deputy of Mufti of Greece. So you've had many immigrants. You are the answer here. Please take the mic. Kindly open the mic. Kindly turn the mic on. Kindly turn the mic from your end. Kindly turn the mic from your end. We can't hear you. You need to turn the mic on, please. Mr. Shadi on the control room. Dr. Ishar, kindly click on the mic, please. Greeting everyone. Yeah, we got you now. We can hear you. First of all, I would like to thank you for this international seminar. We have in the Islam, this is true and virtual. Thanks for this virtual. Thanks for this virtual gathering. It looks real and also virtual at the same time. I would like to thank everyone, all speakers, by the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And I would like to thank you in person, Mr. Hussein Dawoodi, and the Scandinavian Council, and also the International Council for the Muslim Communities, led by Rashid al-Naimi and Dr. Muhammad Bishar. In fact, I think as Ar-Ramli said, I wasn't Shafi'ian, but I agree with many people who spoke before me. They addressed to the same points that I wanted to address, but I will be, in a nutshell, I will address those points. Earlier, we would think that the world has become one village, with the advancement of technology, the world has turned into one global. But now we can see the world is one room. And this virus proved that the world is one room. Only 1.5 meters. If you get closer, then you'll be infected. This what happened reminds us that by the verse in Quran, all people, we created you male and female, and we made you tribes and nations so you can get to know each other. That proves that human or man is human is creature very social by their nature. And how can we have this social creature? It can be done by collaboration. Those are the foundation of the Quran and the saying of the Prophet Muhammad. As the Muhammad Prophet said that human in their communication is like one body. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, whoever doesn't show compassion and mercy will never be subject to the same. So those events that are taking place all over the world, we've seen that people who played a major role represent this sense of selflessness. They become very selfless. Many doctors have died because they were very selfless and they fought in the first line and they sacrificed their lives. And many other issues that were addressed by my friends, that the belief, when it's set in the human heart, Muslims believe in fate, believes in destiny, but they rely. We can do everything we could, but at the end, it's Allah and fate and destiny determines the outcome. The principle here, we shouldn't judge people by the deeds of others. The world now is trying in this crisis human achievement. People, thanks to Allah, most of them, they get used to show solidarity with others who need support, irrespective of their faith and religion. I would like to thank you for listening and greetings to everyone. I hope I didn't take too long. Thank you. Now we go to Russian, to Sheikh Roshan Abbasov, the deputy of the Mufti in Russia. He talks about relationship at the time of epidemic of Corona. And this council is a pioneer in communicating, is a pioneer in terms of communicating with other religions, not only in Russia, but all over the world. And he is the one who introduced me to other religions. Please go ahead. In the name of Allah, thanks to Allah and peace be upon our Prophet. Thanks for organizing this event. I would like to thank the head of the International Council for the Muslim communities, and also to thank the Secretary of the Council. First, I'd like to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's a great opportunity by the end of this blessed month. Our experience, as you know, one of the most important aspects of the relationship at the time of the fear that Corona created, and as religious institutions in Russia, they notify society about where it stands in a very transparent manner. We have a genuine desire to create harmony with the society. Russian Muslims are part and parcel of the Russian society. So the Muslims in Russia are part and parcel of the society, and we've seen a very major challenges imposed by this crisis. So there have been some restrictions on the prayers and rituals. And as you know, this is the time of rituals, prayers, and fasting, and collective rituals. But our concern was what we saw in India, where we see a very aggressive attack on Muslims in India. Therefore, to avoid any this bad impact, Al-Mufti in Russia, the head of Mufti in Russia, the solidarity and the collaboration of all people to face this virus, and all the spiritual leaders all over the world have taken some decisions where we can see today a proactive, a preventative place of worship, like in Mecca and Medina Munawwara and Quds and other places of worship. And the religious leaderships have taken some measures to ensure the safety of people during the quarantine. So they established communication with Muslim leaders by using latest technology for communications. We deployed the latest technology in terms of providing Islamic and religious guidance to other people. And for the quarantine, we have organized a campaign for volunteers, for elderly people during the quarantine. In addition to that, that encompassed laborers who are immigrants from Asia. For that reason, the outbreak of this virus had a very clear outcomes. We've had a very distant communication, and we utilized the latest technology and using it for our religion that could serve the society in general. Again, I would like to thank you for this opportunity. It's a very important one, and happy Ramadan. Thank you for this, and our greetings to Mufti in Russia. Now we go to the country of ice and fire, as Abdul Karim Askari says. They think Iceland is ice. It's actually volcanoes and fire and lava and ice. So it's between, Iceland is between two extremes. Now we go to the Icelandic Al-Hilali, and you have 1 minute and a half to wrap this up. Kindly turn the mic on. You have 1 minute and a half to wrap this up, to wrap it up. Greeting everyone. Great, go ahead. Greeting everyone. May Allah bless you all for this wonderful and great job that you've been doing. May Allah bless you with more and more, and well done, and you've been very great help, and may Allah bless all our brothers and sisters from all religions and backgrounds, Scandinavian, European, Arab, and all other countries. May Allah bless you all. Everybody knows that we are going through a very hard time, the corona pandemic. However, this doesn't mean that we lose hope and we have this pessimistic view. But on the contrary, this is an opportunity to share and propagate hope and smile and positivity. In his in his saying, I like al-fal, the omen, which is a good word. In addition to that, the Prophet, peace be upon him, he said he would invite his friends and his followers to share positivity among people, and would ask them to avoid negativity and pessimism, that it won't become phobia that could destroy the lives of people. The fear of this pandemic can be more dangerous than the epidemic itself. So we call everybody to become positive, to become hopeful, and to take their precautions, to become cautious, and to take their precautious measures. And I can assure you that Iceland passed safely, and thanks to the doctors and the nurses and the frontliners and the active people in the society, and we'd like to thank you them for this hard work. And whatever remains, only you have 15 patients, and hopefully they'll be recovered soon. And I hope Allah will alleviate this pain for all humanity. And we have conviction that Allah is the one who, we shouldn't overthink.
وسموا يعني الكثير يعني جبيرا تفاؤل.
So we should be hopeful, and we should avoid pessimism and negativity, and we should be hopeful. And I pray to Allah to bless you all. Thanks to all our brothers who took part in this virtual seminar or virtual webinar. I would like to thank everyone, although I don't know everybody's by name, journalists, sheikh, men, women, ladies, gentlemen, thanks, and may Allah bless our Prophet and his followers. May Allah, we are on this last 10 days, and may Allah alleviate this crisis, and may Allah preserve everyone and preserve this world, and brings back life as it was. And I hope also that Allah may help everybody to be recovered. And thanks to Allah. Thanks to everybody. Thanks. Now we give the final word, Dr. Ali Naimi. 1 minute will conclude and have minute for Bishari. And then we wrap it up. And sorry, taking too long. Now, sorry. And then if Allah, first of all, thanks from my heart to Hussein Dawood for managing this, and excuse me for the mistake that took place. You've managed this event in a very good way, and you've been very patient. And thanks also to brothers and sisters who contributed greatly to this discussion. What I would like to highlight or draw your attention to, we are now, Muslims in particular, we should overcome the theory. We should be defending to prove that Islam is a religion of mercy. Religion is peace. The religion is peace of love. We should launch real, actual initiatives in our society, in our homes, in our workplace, in our environment. We should shouldn't be words, should be action. Our action talks. Let's talk the talk and walk the walk. So no more theory, no more theory. Let's do action. So as Muslims, unfortunately, some Muslims have become burden on Islam. Our actions, our initiatives, our participations with others and with each other, we should become to reflect the spirit of Islam and should meet the target of this religion, which Allah says to His Prophet, we've sent to you as a mercy to everyone, to humanity. We should be mercy and compassion. And we should be mercy and compassion to everyone, with human, with a stone, with an animal, with a bird, with everyone. So we could manifest the true feature of Islam. So through humanity, through compassion, through peace. Thank you. And we look forward to meet you again. I'd like to thank all Sheikh and all governments, and thanks for your support. And thanks to enhance the active citizenship and overcome the differences and contribute to build an international peaceful society that calls for harmony, coexistence. Dr. Muhammad al-Bishari, please, you have the mic. If you allow me, Your Excellency, in the name of the Council and the members, I would like to thank and my regards to the work that the Scandinavian Council has been doing, led by Abu Marwan and Anwar and Karim Askari and all people working in this team that have proven that they are pioneer, and they are very professional, which is setting up a frame for the Muslim issue. And I was happy to meet all those wonderful faces, and like a Dibri, Ambassador Mushan, and our brothers and sisters from Denmark and from other countries, and Dr. Fawzia, and His Excellency Abdul Majid Al-Amari from Saudi Arabia, and all participants who confirmed through their participation about the importance of this communication. And my regards to the technical people who managed to bring this together through the website and through social media on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and all social media in 2 languages, Arabic and English. Migrating, thanks to the translators and the interpreters, and thanks to the people who conveyed this message, and migrating to the media people led by Ismail Rafat, and the newspaper, The Week, and other websites, the Egyptian, that is go in line with our effort. And we have another meeting soon to share the education, the issue of education, and we have Ali Nuaimi, and don't forget he was the Minister of Education, former Minister of Education, so he can share with us his experience from distance learning, and also our Muslimic or non-Islamic education. Happy Ramadan. I hope those last 10 days, which have mercy and forgiving, will alleviate and eliminate this epidemic, and I hope peace and prosperity will propagate all over the world. And now the word, 5 minutes, the last word now. I would like to thank Your Excellency Ariur. I would like also to thank the Scandinavian Council led by Ahmed Dawoodi and Faye. In fact, it was great that this seminar we managed to, because as leaders, it's just difficult to sit all time to follow up the requirement of the family. In fact, to invest time in such virtual seminar is very important for any person, for any lady. And on behalf of my sisters and all of them, they are all my teachers, I would like to thank on their behalf. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity and for giving us this opportunity to take part, and looking forward to another virtual seminars like this. Looking forward to see them. Thank you very much. Would you like to end it by prayers? Open the mic. Kindly turn the mic on and pray. May Allah bless your efforts, and thanks to His Excellency Dr. Ali bin Rashid al-Nuaimi and my brother Dr. Hamd al-Bashar, and to you, Abu Marwan, and to all attendees. May Allah alleviate this crisis and spare us the pain, as the Prophet has taught us. Allah, you are a forgiver, you love forgiveness. Forgive us and forgive our sins and be merciful, and don't let this become our last month. And may Allah peace be upon our Prophet, and greeting to all of you. The General Secretary. Okay, thanks. The last word, and you could say farewell to everyone. Turn the mic. It's an honor for our Scandinavian Council to have this virtual council and for our guests. It was a very valuable contributions, and we will certainly utilize your contributions and inputs. And I hope those initiatives and those inputs will translate into action. Thanks to all of you, and thanks to the council, and thanks to the Dr. Bishari for this wonderful interaction. And I would like to thank everyone, and hopefully soon we will meet in other conferences. And thanks to you, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for this. It's a Scandinavian, Saudi, Emirati contribution and initiatives. Thank you to our governments in Scandinavian country, and thanks to the Switzerland government. And thanks to, looking forward to you. Okay, to see you. We'll see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Salah. Thanks to everyone. Thank you.